Duster. So this is what I've been hearing about. It's certainly nice.
Hello there. May I help you? Boy, she's cute, but barely old enough to drive.
Hello. It's just that so many of my kids have been talking about your Duster.
So many of your kids?
Oh, I've had 40 this year. You see, I teach at North Senior High and have a driver education class.
You teach driver ed? How about that?
Yes, and phys ed, too. We even vote, you know. Anyway, when I have the kids out on the road, all I hear is...
Hey, there's a Duster.
Duster? Oh, wow!
Wow! We just bought a Duster.
But to be honest, I've looked at some Mavericks, too.
Why shouldn't you? Let's look at both Duster and Maverick. We'll compare them fairly on the things that most owners want and see what fits you best. While Duster and Maverick are in the same price class, they're different kinds of cars in many respects. Duster's designed for 5 adult-sized passengers. Maverick actually seats only 4 in relative comfort. You see, Duster is 9 inches longer overall, has a 5-inch longer wheelbase for a smoother ride. And Duster is wider, too. With its greater size, Duster tops Maverick on 6 of the 8 standard interior comfort dimensions, like giving you 11 inches more hip room. Pretty important to passenger comfort whenever you're driving more than a few miles.
That's important to me. I crowd my girlfriends in and we drive everywhere on weekends.
Yes, and it's nice not to have to apologize to them, isn't it? How many times a week do you get in or out of a car?
It seems like hundreds.
Well, every time you do, you're aware, pleasantly or unpleasantly, of how wide the door opens, especially if you're carrying an armload of groceries or a load of papers to correct. Your girlfriends can get in and out of a Duster a lot more comfortably. The doors open 14.5 inches wider than Maverick's. Here's something else they'll be sure to notice. Maverick's front seat back release is way down low. Anyone getting into the rear has to use 2 hands or a shoulder block.
The only things my friends block are passes.
Well, Duster's seat back release is up high, where it's easy to see and to reach. Lots more convenient, isn't it? And Duster's optional bucket seats have a release that you just touch with your toe. You don't even have to hold it in while moving the seat back forward. There's more passenger convenience and roominess inside Duster. Maverick's drive shaft tunnel humps the floor much more in both front and rear compartments. It's a full 2 inches wider than Duster's in the rear. That's a lot of footroom to lose. See how rich and warm Duster's instrument panel is, with its wood grain trim? Duster uses gauges to tell you about alternator charging and engine temperature. Maverick settles for warning lights.
I'm with Duster. Gauges tell the driver exactly what's going on in there and give you time to do something about it.
It's common for even experienced drivers to start the car and shift into gear with a parking brake on. Both cars have a warning light, but Maverick's goes out as soon as you start, whether the brake is released or not. I'm sure you often have things that you'd like to leave in the car, out of sight and locked.
Sure, I'm a nature and photography buff.
Then Duster's good-sized glove box comes in handy. Maverick has no glove box, just an exposed storage shelf with nothing concealed, nothing protected. Ford seems to have recognized that oversight this year. They still don't give you a glove box, but for an extra $26, they'll sell you this little consolette.
$26?
Yep, $26. And how about this? We offer you a choice of 7 basic interior trim colors and 4 seat styles. Maverick has 4 trim selections, only 2 seats.
Well, I've seen some things that surprise me. But now, how about performance and safety?
I think you'll be even more surprised. Remember I said that even though Duster and Maverick are in the same price class, they're different kinds of cars. Take engines. Duster offers 2 6s and 2 V8s, starting at 125 horsepower and going up to 275. Maverick offers 3 6s, stepping from 100 horses up to 145. Its first optional engine is still 10 horsepower less than Duster's standard 6. When you need braking power, Duster has almost twice Maverick's brake lining area, resulting in better 4-wheel braking action.
But can't you improve Maverick's braking by ordering it with power or front disc brakes?
Maverick has drum brakes only, doesn't offer power brakes or front discs. They're optional for Duster, of course. Another advantage, Duster's standard drum brake linings are bonded to the shoes, not riveted like Maverick's. This means the lining wears longer without danger of exposed rivets scoring the brake drum.
I'm very conscious of how a car rides, We give our kids a lot of practice on back roads before they're ready to handle highways.
Well, let's look at the two cars' suspension systems. Duster has torsion bars at the front because they give the best combination of riding comfort and handling control. At the rear, Duster has 5 leaf springs, mounted far apart for maximum wide stance support, while Maverick makes do with coil springs at the front end and 3 leaf springs, one less than Ford uses on the little Pinto, at the rear.
Let's see if I have this straight. A coil spring's ends don't really work, do they? They just sort of sit there, holding the spring between the frame and the suspension member. But a torsion bar has live springing action all along its length. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly right. But how... Do you get into that much engineering in driver ed?
No, but I have a boyfriend with a sport fury he raps about all the time.
Maverick's bumpers, front and rear, are thin, lightweight, and they don't offer much protection. A buyer should really add the extra cost bumper guards. See how Duster's bumpers are much wider, heavier, and they wrap around farther for a lot more protection. Both cars have 14-inch wheels and tires, but while Maverick uses only 4 lug nuts, Duster's wheels are secured with 5. Just another indication of Chrysler Plymouth extra care. Maverick's trunk is small. It only holds 10.1 cubic feet. The spare wheel and tire eat up some of that before you even begin loading. The Duster trunk is almost 60% bigger, holding 15.9 cubic feet of cargo. And none of this area is wasted because the spare is tucked out of the way, under the trunk floor.
Hasn't Ford made quite a point of how easy it is for Maverick owners to repair the car? Change plugs, replace filters, check timing, and so forth.
That's what they say. Let's check it out. The first thing you run into, literally, in Maverick's engine compartment is this awkward support prop. But Ford can't remove it. It's the only thing that keeps the hood up. Duster's is counterbalanced. And these towers that cover Maverick's front coil springs make it a challenge to see and reach some areas under the hood.
I don't see any problems with Duster.
That's right. Duster's engine compartment layout makes things easy to recognize and to work on. Owner and dealership reports prove it's easy to work on.
Well, I buy the idea that Duster and Maverick are different kinds of cars. But how can they be in the same price range?
You wouldn't think so, would you? Let's analyze it. Starting from the manufacturer's suggested retail selling prices, we'll add Maverick's least expensive optional engine. Then, if you want the security of a lockable storage area...
Remember my camera and binoculars.
We'll add a lock for Duster's glove box and put in the Maverick consolette.
So we're left with a difference of,
Only $77 and a nickel between these very different kinds of cars. Now, assuming you keep the car just 2 years, that's less than 11 cents a day for all the added Duster values that you've seen.
Why, I smoke more than that.
Great incentive to quit, isn't it? Duster offers you many more comfort, convenience, and performance options than Maverick. Rally road wheels and special wheel covers, cassette stereo tape player with recording capability, seats with folding center armrest, deluxe steering wheels, V8 engines, power and disc brakes, all the things to make a Duster the car that fits you best.
I like Duster's fit. But just out of curiosity, what's this new 4-door Maverick like?
Well, I'd say it's Ford's tip of the hat to families who found the 2-door much too cramped. Ford has stretched out the car 7 inches for a little more room in the rear compartment. The wheelbase is almost 2 inches longer than Valiant, but the overall length is 2 inches shorter. Almost every advantage we've seen for Duster over the Maverick 2-door sedan holds true for Valiant over Maverick's 4-door. Valiant tops it on 7 of the 8 standard interior comfort dimensions, particularly hip room. Has the same advantages we've seen in instrumentation, locking storage area, engines, brakes, suspension, styling, trunk size, bumper protection, options. And when we equalize the two cars, you can enjoy Valiant's many advantages for only $96.05 more.
I had no idea the difference was so little for so much.
Well, Ford hasn't exactly made a point of it.
My boyfriend, the one with the Sport Fury, wondered how performance compares for the Duster 340 and the Maverick Grabber.
Well, if he's dating you, he's too smart to believe the two cars are even in the same ballpark. Duster 340 is a true high-performance compact. Big 275 horsepower V8, 4-barrel carb, heavy-duty suspension, performance axle ratio, bigger heavy-duty 10-inch brakes, rally-type instrumentation. Grabber is a cosmetic car. It's the base Maverick all gussied up. Same little standard engine, same suspension, axle, brakes, just a $179 paint and trim job on the base Maverick.
Say, I just wonder,
Wonder what?
if you sold my boyfriend a new Duster, too,
Hey, that's a good idea. What about it?
do you think he might get the idea we're a matched pair?
Chrysler Plymouth, coming